Captain Elias Carter stood at the wide viewing window of the Zenith, the Orion Union's diplomatic vessel. The vast emptiness of space stretched before him, a sea of glittering stars and distant nebulae. His gaze was locked on a single ship, an alien freighter that had been on a direct course toward Earth's sector. Then, suddenly, it changed course. This wasn't the first time he had witnessed such an event. It was the seventh ship this week to make an abrupt, seemingly unprovoked turn away from Earth's region. Something was wrong. Carter rubbed his tired eyes. Lack of sleep had plagued him for days, but no amount of exhaustion could explain what he was witnessing. A voice cut through his thoughts. "Captain, you need to see this." Carter turned. Jonah, his young communications officer, was hunched over his station, his hands hovering uncertainly over the glowing interface. There was something in his voice, a tremor of fear. "What is it?" Carter asked, stepping closer. Jonah gulped. "We're receiving a transmission, sir. It's broadcasting across all frequencies. I think it's a warning." The words made Carter's stomach tighten. "On screen," he ordered. A moment later, bold white text appeared on the holographic display, scrolling in Galactic Standard, the universal language of interstellar diplomacy. Warning. By decree of the Elders, all spacefaring vessels are advised to avoid Earth's sector. This is not a request. This is for your survival. The bridge fell silent. The Elders. Every civilization in the galaxy knew about them. They were the first, the oldest, beings so ancient that their origins were lost to time. They rarely interfered in galactic matters, choosing instead to watch from their mysterious outposts near the galactic core. For them to issue a warning, directly and without explanation, was unprecedented. Carter felt his heartbeat quicken. "Jonah, transmit this to Earth Command immediately." But before Jonah could even move, the ship's AI interrupted. "Captain, multiple vessels are dropping out of faster-than-light travel nearby." Carter turned sharply toward the viewing window. His breath caught. Dozens of ships, each belonging to different alien species, emerged from the black void of space. Normally, they would continue along their trade routes, heading toward Earth or passing peacefully through. But they weren't moving forward. Instead, they all began to turn away, like a school of fish instinctively fleeing a predator. "Sir," Jonah spoke again, checking his console. "The Galactic Council has convened an emergency session." Carter frowned. "So soon?" "That's unusual." Jonah hesitated. "Sir, Earth's representatives haven't been invited." Silence. Carter felt a cold shiver run down his spine. In all the years since humanity had joined the galactic community, they had never been excluded from a council meeting. Something was very, very wrong. The AI spoke again. "Captain, I am detecting encrypted communications between multiple alien species. Would you like me to attempt decryption?" Carter exhaled sharply. "Do it." A tense moment passed. Then the message appeared. Carter read it aloud. "The Elders speak truth. Earth harbors more than just humans. It's not them we should fear. We were fools to ignore the ancient warnings." His hands clenched into fists. "Adrian," Carter turned to his second-in-command. "Have you ever heard of any warnings about Earth?" Adrian shook his head. "Not in any diplomatic exchange. Never." The ship trembled as another vessel shot past them, engines flaring at maximum speed, desperate to leave the sector. Carter's jaw tightened. "Jonah, send a message to every ship in range, request an explanation, remind them of our peaceful status." Jonah worked quickly. Minutes passed. Then he looked up, his expression grim. "No one is responding, sir." Carter opened his mouth to speak, but Jonah's console flashed again. "Captain, the Elders are broadcasting another message." This time, the message was shorter, and far more terrifying. Earth was quarantined for a reason. We remember what dwells there. The young civilization on its surface does not know what shares their world. For your safety, stay away. Carter watched as the last remaining alien ships blinked out of existence, jumping into faster-than-light travel. The space around Earth was now empty. For the first time in decades, humanity was alone. Or at least, they had thought they were. The dim glow of holographic displays cast shifting blue and white hues across the silent chamber. The Lunar Research Station was built for deep space analysis, a facility filled with ancient star maps, declassified reports, and classified documents that had never seen the light of day. It was a place where history was not just stored, but carefully hidden. Commander Lillian Hayes sat alone at a massive, curved workstation, her fingers tapping absent-mindedly on the polished metal surface as she scrolled through volumes of data. Holographic charts flickered in the air before her, rotating models of planetary systems, historical logs from first contact missions, and intercepted alien transmissions. The dim overhead lighting made the room feel vast and empty, and the only sounds were the occasional hum of processing units and the rhythmic ticking of her wrist chronometer. The silence wasn't comforting. It was oppressive, weighted with a history no one wanted to acknowledge. For the past week, Hayes had been searching for anything that could explain why the Elders, the most ancient beings in the known universe, had suddenly declared Earth a forbidden zone. Why had they waited until now to send this warning? What had changed? Every lead had turned into a dead end. Every document she pulled up was either vague, redacted, or missing entirely. She exhaled, rubbing her temples. The exhaustion was creeping in. She hadn't slept in almost 2 days, sustained only by black coffee and sheer determination. But she couldn't stop now. Something was wrong, and no one else was asking the right questions. Taking a slow breath, she straightened in her seat and issued a new command. Computer, show me trade route records from 50 years before Earth's first contact. The holographic interface shimmered before morphing into a sprawling map of interstellar trade routes, bright neon lines tracing the paths of cargo ships, diplomatic missions, and travel corridors spanning across the Orion arm of the galaxy. And then she saw it. A massive, empty void surrounded Earth's solar system, a perfectly circular gap in the network. No trade routes, no exploratory missions, no alien presence. The image sent a cold wave through her. Computer! Her voice was barely a whisper now. Show historical records from that period. Any mentions of Earth. The display flickered. Then, in front of her, a single line of text appeared in Galactic Standard. Sector 0043-9, Sol System, designated exclusion zone, access forbidden, no survey permitted. Her breath caught. They had been avoiding Earth. Long before humanity had even left its planet, long before they had discovered the existence of alien life, the rest of the galaxy had already marked their home as forbidden. Hayes leaned back in her chair, the weight of the discovery pressing against her chest. Why? And more importantly, what had they been so afraid of? Across the galaxy. The Watcher. Far across the void of space, in a small, cloaked observation vessel hidden behind the moon, Kale sat hunched over his research console. His blue-tinted skin shimmered faintly under the dim lighting of his ship's control room. His people, the Valtari, had strict rules. No contact with Earth, no interference, no study. But Kale had broken every rule. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a politician. He was an anthropologist, a historian, and he had to know the truth. He had been observing Earth for 12 days, running passive scans, analyzing its civilization, and, most importantly, searching for any sign of what had prompted the Elders' sudden warning. Something had changed. Something had woken up. His ship's sensors suddenly beeped. An anomaly. He frowned, tapping at the controls. The readings didn't make sense. There was an energy signature, something ancient, emanating from beneath Earth's oceans. He quickly zoomed in on the location. The Pacific Ocean. His heart pounded. "Computer," he whispered, "analyze the energy pattern." The response came instantly. Energy signature matches restricted historical records. Source, the Elders' Archive. Access denied. Kale stiffened. The Elders had records on this? He hesitated for only a second before making his decision. Override security lock. Authorization code. Scientific emergency protocol. The computer paused. Then, for the first time in his career, it displayed classified data from the Elders' own archives. Kyle's breath caught in his throat. The words on the screen made his hands shake. "They were here before us, before the ancients, before recorded time. We tried to colonize Earth. We tried to study them. We were wrong. This world is not empty. It never was." He barely noticed when his ship's AI gave another warning. Something was moving. The depths of the Pacific. Meanwhile, thousands of meters beneath the ocean's surface, the research submarine Abyss drifted through the crushing darkness. Dr. Marcus Lane, one of Earth's leading exogeologists, peered at the sonar display. The terrain was wrong. There were structures down here, massive, ancient, precise. "We're getting strange temperature readings," his pilot muttered. Before Lane could respond, a faint glow appeared in the water ahead of them. Software ethereal, unnatural. The submarine's lights illuminated the abyss, revealing something impossible. A city. Vast and alien, rising from the ocean floor, its architecture shifting as though it wasn't fully bound to the physical world. Lane's voice came out hoarse. This shouldn't exist." Then, a crackle over the radio. "Abyss, this is Zenith. Get out of there, now!" Lane turned, his heart pounding. "Captain, what's happening?" Carter's voice was sharp. "That energy signature, it's waking up." Then, without warning, the lights within the city moved, not like reflections, not like natural bioluminescence. They shifted, reacted, turned toward the submarine, watching. The abyss shook violently as an unseen force surged through the water. The instruments flickered wildly, warning alarms blaring, and then a whisper, not through the radio, not through sound, directly into their minds. "You were never alone." Above Earth, the revelation. On the Zenith, Captain Carter and his crew stared in horror at the incoming data. Hayes' voice came over the comms. "Captain, the Elders didn't mark Earth forbidden because of humanity. They did it because of what was already here, what's always been here." Kale's voice cut in from his hidden ship, his tone urgent. "It's waking up." Carter barely had time to process before the ship's AI sounded a new alarm. Massive energy spike detected. Origin, Earth's Pacific Ocean. And on their screens, every satellite, every deep space scanner, every interstellar communication system received the same chilling message from something ancient, something that had been watching. "We see you. We have always seen you. And now, it is time you see us." Earth had never been alone. Now, the rest of the galaxy would finally understand why.